It is time for legit or quit. Are these NFL storylines from week 6 legit, or do we need to slow down? Let's start with the Cooper Rush experience is over, and that is legit. Cooper Rush, in his time, the Dallas Cowboys, was an undefeated quarterback up until Sunday Night Football's game against the Philadelphia Eagles, and did the job really well. He had a good connection with Noah Brown. Him and CeeDee Lamb's chemistry eventually started to come about. And the rushing game really hadn't been there except for the last 2 games. Zeke got into the end zone. Tony Pollard against the Rams had a long rushing touchdown, beat the Rams in LA, and had a lot of people questioning, do you stick with Cooper Rush when Dak comes back, or do you welcome Dak Prescott with open arms back as the starting quarterback? And that is definitely the right decision to do. Cooper Rush is definitely limited. He is a true backup quarterback. He's not going to make mistakes, even though he did throw 3 interceptions yesterday. Theoretically, he's not going to make a lot of mistakes. Dak Prescott, he's the guy you're paying $40 million. That alone is, you're going to get him back in the starting job as soon as he's healthy and able to do so. But I do like what Cooper Rush has done. However, it is time to finally hand the keys back to Dak Prescott, assuming he's healthy for the start next week. Storyline number 2, the Jets, the New York Jets, are a top 10 team. Let's stop. We're going to quit. The Jets were so reliant on Breece Hall in their win over both the Dolphins and over the Packers. They have a good team, and as things stand, they're in the playoffs. But Zach Wilson was only 10 of 18, 110 yards. Breece Hall was everything, 20 carries, 116 yards, and a touchdown. Like, their number 1 receiver was Corey Davis, 2 catches, 52 yards. Garrett Wilson, 1 catch for 8 yards. Elijah Moore, I don't know if he's hurt or not playing, or if he was on the field and didn't get a catch. I have no idea, but he didn't do anything yesterday. The defense, though, also, and you expect that from a defensive-minded head coach, Quincy Williams, 14 total tackles yesterday. Absolutely amazing. They're playing good football, and for a young team, they're doing things you want to see and taking steps and progressions you want them to take. They're 4-2. They're in the playoffs. You can't really ask more than that. But to say they're a top 10 team, let's slow down. I don't fancy the Packers. Dolphins had a carousel at quarterback, finishing with their 3rd string quarterback who had never played a pro snap in his career, wasn't expecting to play, ends up playing. Let's slow down. Let's see how they play over the next couple of games before we even want to get close to saying they're a top 10 team. Packers are going to miss the playoffs. I'll let you guys. It's legit. It's legit. The Packers are horrible. They are bottom half in almost every single offensive statistical category. Aaron Rodgers is, I think, 20th in passing yards. They're bottom 10 in touchdowns, rushing. And then on the defensive side of things, you're unable to contain the New York Jets. Not a top 10 team. They've gotten kind of fortunate to beat the Steelers. Circumstances were very much in their favor to beat the Dolphins. But wow. The Packers, I knew the Packers would be bad. I wasn't bold enough to say that the Packers were going to miss the playoffs at the time of season start. I said they were going to make it just in at the 7th seed, but Aaron Rodgers has nobody to throw to. He has an all right connection with Alan Lazard, Romeo Doubs, and Christian Watson, Randall Cobb. They'll have their games, they'll have their moments, but this offense can't move the ball downfield, losing at home to a young football team, getting clowned by Sauce Gardner at the end. This team has no confidence, no rhythm, and nothing really going for them at this part of the season, so I definitely think the Packers are going to miss the playoffs. Christian McCaffrey is going to fix the Rams' issues and lead them back to the top. We're quitting. Now, the Rams did handle the Panthers yesterday, or on Sunday at the time you're watching this. Woo. Team that just fired their head coach, that sent arguably their best wide receiver, or second best wide receiver, to the locker room after getting into one of their assistant coaches. That's not an impressive win. We've seen them lose to the Cowboys. We've seen the Falcons, who are a team I really like. 5-0 against the spread this season, 6-0 now against the spread this season. We see the Falcons took them to the very end. The Rams have a whole lot more issues going on, and that's not going to change by just bringing in Christian McCaffrey. You still don't have somebody to hit over the top and take the top off the defense. Tutu Atwell We saw that one catch against the Cowboys. Cooper Kupp, I like Cooper Kupp. Probably a top 5 wide receiver, but he's a dump off merchant. He does get I think 80% of his catches between 5 to 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. And he makes some moves, and we'll see him house one every now and then, which we did see against the Cowboys. Him just take an in route and just turn the corner, and he was gone. Very good wide receiver, very intelligent. But Allen Robinson is not even close to what they thought he would be. Had his best game yesterday, but even that isn't really saying anything. They can't run the ball, which is also a huge issue. But the bigger issue is that they weren't able to replace Andrew Whitworth. They've had a rotating offensive line all year just because of injuries, and they're not good. This team should creep their way into the playoffs as the season goes on, but I love the Eagles a lot more. I love the Vikings a lot more. I have a lot of question marks about the Buccaneers. I like them a lot more. Christian McCaffrey alone is not going to solve the issues that this Rams team has. Another NFC West team, the Arizona Cardinals. Should they fire Cliff Kingsbury today? Yes, they should fire the Cliff Kingsbury today. He's been without DeAndre Hopkins. Okay. So what? You still have Kyler Murray. We've seen what Hollywood Brown, now he's hurt, so we'll see what happens. But that should still be a high-flying offense, and they're bottom 10 in a lot of statistical categories. Scored 9 points yesterday against the Seattle Seahawks. Couldn't get the ball across the 50-yard line. And then the defense, no shock, isn't good. You let Chandler Jones walk. J.J. Watt he's good, but he's not even close to the player he used to be. And now what are you looking at? You're looking at last place in your division. The games that you have won have been just nearly edging it out. Beat the Raiders in overtime, scored all your points in the second half of the game. This team is dysfunctional. This offense isn't working. They're getting DeAndre Hopkins back. We'll see what happens when they do so. But as things stand, Cliff Kingsbury has got to go. And finally, Bailey Zappe is better than Mac Jones. I know you want me to say it. We're quitting. Bailey Zappe is not better than Mac Jones. Bailey Zappe is most certainly a system backup quarterback at best, and I would argue that Mac Jones is close. Mac Jones is closer to a backup than he is a premier starter. But Mac Jones, we saw his numbers last year, especially against zone coverage. Had 74% completion percentage against zone coverage last year. And say what you want about the Patriots, I've been one of those. They dominate bad to mediocre teams. The Browns, they beat the Steelers on Thursday Night Football. Okay. I think they beat they narrowly beat the Panthers on opening day. The Browns aren't all that. They're waiting and hoping they can just have a respectable season until Deshaun Watson returns. But Bailey Zappe, the Patriots know how to get things done. They know how to just methodically move the ball and work around a system quarterback. And that's all Bailey Zappe is. He's a backup. He's not better than Mac Jones. Let's quit on that. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of these storylines. Are you a believer? Are you a disbeliever? But thank you for watching.